Hello everyone, my name is Isabella and I'm currently an undergraduate student studying LLB Law in the London School of Economics and Political Science. Your personal statement is a crucial aspect of your application, and being able to express your unique identity in a variety of talents is important. With my personal statement, I was able to obtain conditional offers from LSE, Queen Mary University of London, the University of Bristol, and the University of Manchester. Knowing how to start and write your personal statement may be difficult, but I would like to make this process easier by sharing some tips in my own personal statement to support your journey of applying to university. Firstly, you must know the character and line limit of your personal statement. You can only write a maximum of 4,000 characters and 47 lines. When beginning to write your personal statement, it's good to start by having a comfortable grasp of your structure, which will become a foundation for you to build upon. By knowing your structure, it will become easier for you to elaborate on yourself, why you want to take the course, and why you are the right candidate for your chosen university. A good structure would consist of the following. An introduction. Here you could discuss any important reasons as to why you want to study this course, how you were introduced to your chosen field of study, or if by pursuing this subject you would be achieving any personal ambitions. Make sure that your introduction is clear, concise, and leaves a strong impression. Avoid using generic or banal quotes. And when referring to the reason as to why you took the course, do not include a lengthy biography of yourself or use the phrase "when I was young." This may give the impression that your personal statement is potentially cliched or lacks depth in comparison to other unique and interesting candidates. Next, write a paragraph on a specific topic related to your chosen course. Have you read an article or book on this topic? Have you interacted with it within your studies, through a project, or through work experience? How do academics perceive this topic, and what is your personal take on it? Now, write 2 more paragraphs similar to the previous one, but on another subject relevant to your course. Make sure that both topics are subjects that truly interest you, as forming a concise, accurate, and well-informed opinion on it is appreciated by those reviewing your personal statement. Lastly, write a conclusion. Here, write a short paragraph which sums up why you are the right candidate for this course. Look at the characteristics that are desirable to universities. Identifying these will make the process of finding experiences you have that demonstrate these easier, or can help to find potential gaps that you have that you may need to fill with more opportunities. Some may include spoken and written communication skills, the ability to empathize and form trusting relationships, negotiation, problem-solving skills, and persuasion, research and analytical skills, attention to detail or attentiveness, teamwork and leadership skills, resilience, passion, determination, and adapting to adverse situations, the ability to take the initiative and be proactive in your own learning, organizational skills, time management, and being capable of balancing academic, personal, and extracurricular responsibilities. You could list all of the tasks or roles you have undertaken or been responsible for that may be relevant to your course. For example, I use a document tracking all of my positions of responsibility, achievements, extracurricular activities, and work experience as a reference to draw ideas from when writing my personal statement. Due to my experience of lockdown, I was not able to gain any work experience, so if you're worried about this, you can instead demonstrate your skills through other means such as competitions, research, and any other projects you have participated in. Remember that you must include evidence of the previously mentioned skills, any unique or special attributes that make you different from other candidates, and interests that demonstrate your abilities. Always maintain a tone of either enthusiasm, dedication to the subject, or a personal reflection. Try to find your personal voice to stand out, but use a formal and factual tone, and avoid slang, colloquialisms, and humor. Don't worry if you can't seem to get your personal statement right the first time. It's good to ask an admissions manager, administrator, or academic available at your school or college to critique it and give you feedback. To exemplify what I've already talked about, I will now read my personal statement and explain each section. Beyond the black and white outcomes of the law, there are intricate narratives and stories behind every judgment. I gravitate to this profound subject as law is a catalyst and a guiding hand, coalescing empathy and equity to uphold the heart of society. My introduction was inspired by the book In Your Defense by Sarah Langford. Within the book, the author discusses the juxtaposing sides of the objective and subjective within the law. There are different principles, morals, and opinions in the law, which opened my eyes to the law's true nature. I also incorporated my own view of the law, which was inspired by witnessing its impact in sociology and its significance in everyday life. These insights were catalysts that incited my interest in studying law, thus I included them in my introduction, and my perspective links to the core of the issues in my upcoming paragraphs. One aspect of the law that I am passionate about is the issue of art repatriation. As countries recover in a post-colonial era, the unjust possession of colonial artifacts is immoral, depriving individuals of their heritage and perpetuating imperialism. The 1970 UNESCO Convention illustrates the importance of international law in art repatriation. However, this discourse may be about morality rather than legality. The determination of looted items is complex. At the time of acquisition, artifacts may be obtained legally, thus repatriation is unnecessary, as seen with the Parthenon marbles. Repatriation to compensate for colonialism neglects the positives of possession. Cultural items encapsulate a global culture, and their presence in museums promotes understanding of the past and tolerance. Overall, my fascination has encouraged me to explore this further by addressing if artifacts should be returned to former colonial territories in the Year 12 NCH essay competition, and I was selected as a finalist. By delving into this during my course, I hope to learn more about how the law can facilitate negotiations regarding the possession of artifacts between countries. For my first paragraph, I chose the topic of art repatriation, as I had conducted research on this subject when I competed in the Year 12 New College of Humanities essay competition, and wrote an academic essay on the question, should the West return cultural artifacts to their former colonial territories? Here, I briefly discuss recent news of colonial artifacts, the potential limitations of its return, and I've integrated my own informed opinion of the debate to show my personal perspective on this problem. Make sure that you include your take on a pertinent issue in your selected field. Those reading your personal statement would like to see how you've synthesized different angles to come to your own conclusion of the situation. Intellectual property is a riveting area of the law, as copyright infringement is ubiquitous in a digital world. By interacting with art businesses and creators on Instagram, it is evident that plagiarism proliferates on social media. Legislation is inadequate and fails to protect artists from malicious companies and individuals online. Lack of legal remedy and compensation is due to limited financial support to enter disputes, and artists' level of influence determines if their desire for retribution is heeded or silenced. As the art and photography prefect, I led the initiative Artist Insight, interviewing artists around the world such as Catherine Onesta and Kellogg's Loops to educate and raise awareness about this issue. Furthermore, many artists are enthralled by the NFT market. Unbeknownst to many, there are numerous legal ramifications of this practice. Identity theft, detrimental environmental consequences due to storage of crypto art, and a risk of violating data protection laws. This reflects how reforms to copyright laws are imperative to protect the future of the online art industry. For my next topic, I have selected intellectual property and copyright due to my interest in art and as an illustrator on Instagram. Here, I discuss both my research and the initiative I established as an art and photography prefect, demonstrating my interest in this topic, my teamwork and leadership skills, and proactivity. Similar to the previous paragraph, I've included my own opinion and how I perceive the future of the law being impacted based on recent developments such as NFT art. Climate issues are omnipresent in a world suffering the irreversible impacts of climate change. Eradicating Ecocide by Higgins is informative, advocating ecocide as a crime against humanity and holding corporations accountable for ecological crimes such as the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. However, there are limitations. There are difficulties in finding sufficient grounds for prosecution, identifying the perpetrator, and evidence of intent. Nevertheless, this progression demonstrates the dynamicism of the law, as recognizing society's changing beliefs leads to proclamation addressing public concerns. I have used my knowledge of environmental issues to participate in eco-conscious initiatives. I became a student ambassador for the Times Higher Education and aided in creating a manifesto for change, which outlines student priorities for universities. I presented a statement about universities as green beacons in communities and promoting positive change at the Climate Impact Forum, attended by UK university representatives and the UN Environmental Programme. Next, I chose the topic of environmental law and how the book Eradicating Ecocide by Polly Higgins has influenced my views on this and the limitations of ecocide as a crime against humanity. In this paragraph, I was able to tie in my knowledge of green crime from A-level Sociology and further reading. Furthermore, I included my responsibility as a student ambassador and the opportunity this position gave me to raise awareness about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. It's important to find recent topics that may be at the forefront of debate in your field, and issues that relate to climate change and sustainability may be valued by specific universities dedicated to carbon neutrality or are transforming into a green campus. Becoming part of an institution that models society's values and safeguards our rights is enthralling. Law is a challenging and fascinating course, and I eagerly desire to unravel the inner workings of the law to defend individuals and communities that are important to me. Your conclusion should be short and sweet, culminating the sentiments you presented in your introduction and body paragraphs. Make sure to communicate your fascination or passion for your course to the person reading your personal statement to ensure you leave a lasting impression. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that this was helpful for your university application process. It may be overwhelming, but I believe that you can submit an amazing personal statement. Would you like me to make a video about how I achieved an A-star in A-level Sociology, English Language and Art? Or a video about how I prepared for the LNAT exams? Please let me know in the comments below. Have a great day, and good luck with your personal statement.